Hello everyone! Welcome back to another day in Kidsman. If this is your first time here or seeing this month's video, then I wanted to let you know that we are talking about God's creativity for the month of August. And I decided to spend today out in God's creation. Isn't that great? Today I want to start by asking you guys a question. And you may have heard this question before, but what do you want to be when you grow up? Go ahead and hit pause in this video and talk about your answer with your family or small group. Go ahead and tell them what you want to be when you grow up. You see, when I was your age, I wanted to be a few different things. I either wanted to be a pro skateboarder or a veterinarian. So obviously that worked out really well for me. The crazy thing is, and also I think it's super fun that we can imagine what we would be like in 20 years. But the crazy thing is that no matter what we decide to do with our life, God is going to use us to glorify His kingdom everywhere on earth. Today we're talking about a person named Esther. And I don't want to spoil anything, but she becomes a queen of a place called Persia. And you know, it's no big deal, but the big deal is that God uses her when His people needed Him most. So that's enough. I'm done spoiling. So let's go ahead and jump into our song, and then we're going to hear about our lesson.
Spinning. You made the ocean and everything in it, and you made the sky so blue, and you made every other color too. You made the sun, you keep it shining. You put the moon up in the midnight sky, and everything around me created by you only. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. You made my feet, you made my hands, you make me sing and you make me dance, 'cause your love is all around me, and your love is so astounding. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. Here we go, break it down now. Everything you created with your imagination is wonderful and good, wonderful and good. You're my inspiration beyond all explanation. You're wonderful and good, you're wonderful and good. Everything you created with your imagination is wonderful and good, wonderful and good. You're my inspiration beyond all explanation. You're wonderful and good, you're wonderful and good. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful. I just wanna thank you, 'cause everything you made is so beautiful. Every single star and every beat of my heart, and it's beautiful.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story. Inspired by the Book of Esther.
Esther was the queen of Persia.
Wait, what? Queen?
Esther didn't become queen in the usual way. See, her father wasn't a king, and she wasn't from a noble family.
It's just me and cousin Mordecai.
In fact, Esther was Jewish. Many of God's people had been captured and brought to Babylon when their home, Judah, was conquered. Then Babylon was taken over by Persia. So Esther grew up in a land that wasn't her own. When Esther's parents died, her cousin Mordecai raised her as his very own daughter.
Always remember what our scriptures say. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Love him with all your strength.
One day, a new king named Xerxes came to power in Persia. He was so impulsive that he actually fired his queen Vashti simply for refusing to show up at a wild party.
She will never see me again.
When Xerxes had finally calmed down, he had realized he now had no queen.
I have no queen.
He would have to find a new one.
I must find a new one.
So the king decided to hold a contest. He ordered his officials to gather the most beautiful young women in the land and put them through an entire year of beauty treatments. Esther was one of those girls chosen.
Cousin Mordecai, what do I do?
Don't tell anyone you're from a Jewish family.
I have chosen my new queen. Drum roll. My new queen is Esther.
Me?
Assume the queenly royal crown. I might have to resize it.
Just as Xerxes had so impulsively switched queens, he also promoted a royal official named Haman higher than all of the other nobles in the kingdom.
Bow to me, you fools!
Haman was delighted when all of the officials outside the palace bowed low before him. When he discovered that Mordecai refused to bow, he was enraged.
You have to bow! Somebody make him bow!
Haman was so angry. He made a plan to destroy not only Mordecai, but all the Jews in the land. He laid it out for the king.
Your Majesty, these Jews live differently than everyone else. They don't obey your laws.
Fiddlesticks. That's just wrong.
Precisely. Give the order to destroy them.
Consider it done.
Xerxes agreed to the terrible decree. Messengers took the letter all over the kingdom.
Hear ye, hear ye. On the 13th day of the 12th month, all Jews are to be killed. Hear ye, hear ye.
When Mordecai and the other Jews discovered the horrible news, they dressed in rough clothing and wept bitterly. Mordecai sent a message to Esther in the palace, telling her what Haman had done.
You must ask the king to save our people.
Esther was devastated. She sent a response to her cousin.
No one can come before the king unless he sends for them. If I do it, I'll die, unless he reaches out his gold scepter to me.
Mordecai sent his answer right back.
You may not escape, even though you're queen. Who knows? It's possible that you became queen for just a time like this.
He's right. Here, tell this to Mordecai. Gather all the Jews. Don't eat anything for 3 days. I and my servants will fast too. Then I'll go to the king.
Esther faced an impossible dilemma, but she took 3 days to prepare her heart and her mind.
Bring my most beautiful royal robes.
Heart racing, Esther entered the throne room. Across the long hall, she saw the king seated high on the throne. Breathless, she waited for him to see her.
Please, please, please.
The king looked up, his dark eyes locked on Esther's face. And then he smiled. He reached out his golden scepter.
Thank God.
What is it, Queen Esther? I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom.
Esther could have made her request right away, but she knew she would have a better chance if she made the king curious.
King Xerxes, if it pleases you, come to a feast I prepared today. Oh, and bring Haman.
Consider it done.
Esther created an elaborate feast for the king and his number 2 official.
Look at me, you peasants, invited to the queen's banquet.
At the meal, King Xerxes once again tried to discover what Esther wanted.
I'll give you anything, up to half my kingdom.
Once again, Esther held her ground and waited for the perfect moment.
I'd like you and Haman to come to another feast tomorrow. Then I'll answer your question.
The king agreed, and Haman spent the whole evening bragging to all of his friends.
You guys, the queen thinks I am the bomb.
But the second feast was a different story. As before, Esther prepared an incredible meal. Both Haman and the king were quick to dig in.
What do you want me to do for you? I'll give you up to half my kingdom.
Esther took a deep breath. Something told her this was the right moment.
Your Majesty, let me live. Please spare my people. We have been sold to be destroyed.
Haman paled and choked on his fillet, but the king's face flushed red with rage.
Who is the man who has dared to do such a thing?
Esther turned her gaze on Haman.
Haman is the one.
In a panic, Haman threw himself at the queen.
Totally didn't mean it. Please, please, please let me live.
You dare attack the queen? Take him away.
That very night, Haman was killed, and the king created a new order that would allow the Jews to be saved.
We will celebrate this day with great joy.
God had given Esther a surprising position in a foreign nation, and when the time was right, she would use all she had been given to save her people.
I am sure when Esther was your age, she did not expect that one day she was going to be queen. And especially she didn't expect that God was going to use her to save all of his people from that guy Haman. She had been given an incredible opportunity that she used to make a big difference. In a way, we can say that she used her creativity to save her people. God gave you special gifts just like Esther, and he has a plan for you and your life. And you'll be able to discover more and more of that as you get older and as you use those gifts. Just like Esther, we were all made for a specific purpose in glorifying God. That is our main point for the day. God created you for a purpose. I, for one, can't wait to see what God has planned for each and every one of you. And I hope that you listen to God and pray that he uses the gifts that he has given you to praise him and help others. Well, that's all for today. I'm going to get back, probably, set up a lawn chair, tan a little bit. But I will see you guys back next week with a new lesson, so make sure you come back. High five, fist bump. See you later.